Shirley is with NHS 111 service, and what is it I can help you with today?
Basically, Kyrell, he's been acting really funny, like his body's floppy and his eyes is rolling back and his chest is like coming out like he can't breathe and he's not responding properly.
Okay, so is he awake at the moment?
Yeah, but it's like he'll be laying down and then he lashes out and then he's just not, he looks like he's not here basically. His eyes are just rolling back.
Based upon that information that you have just given me there, it is advised I do arrange an emergency ambulance.
Birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear.
I really appreciate you joining me today, and this story comes from South London. This is an update to a story that I covered over 2 years ago, and it's only today that the parents, the mother and the boyfriend, have been convicted in connection to the death of Kyrell Matthews. He was only 2 years old at the time of his death, and he had a string of terrible injuries that he'd suffered during his short life, and he was found dead in October 2019. On Friday the 4th of March 2022, at the Old Bailey, the boyfriend of Kyrell's mother, Kemar Brown, 28, from Thornton, Heath, was found guilty of Kyrell's murder and also guilty of causing and allowing serious harm to the child. Kyrell's mother, Phylesia Shirley, 24 years old, also from the same address, was found guilty of manslaughter. She pled guilty on the first day of trial on the 17th of January 2022 and for allowing the death of a child and serious harm. The judge in charge of the case said that they must be utterly ashamed of what they've done and they'll both be sentenced on Friday the 25th of March. Following the conviction, the police have released a lot of details, evidence, audios and video of Kyrell's life in the moments before he died, and also the audio from his mother ringing the ambulance service. Detective Chief Inspector Kate Kieran said, "This was a horrific case and the injuries that Kyrell suffered were terrible, and it's impossible to understand how anybody could do this to a child. This was the result of a sudden loss of temper, and these injuries showed that the abuse that Kyrell suffered went on, and then one brutal assault brought his life to an end." The jurors were played audio recordings of what took place in the home, with both Brown and Shirley clearly involved in the physical abuse of the young toddler. I hope the convictions, the police said, can bring closure to the loved ones of Kyrell. And yet another example of a mother who participated and in some ways acted as well in the crime, being given a much lesser sentence. She will not get more than 10 to 12 years for manslaughter. The court heard that at 3 p.m. on Sunday the 20th of October 2019, Kyrell's mother Phylesia phoned the police and the NHS helpline. She told them that her son was ill, and she said that his eyes were rolling back in his head and he was having trouble breathing. She was advised to do CPR, and when the ambulance arrived 12 minutes later, they could not detect any heartbeat. They also noticed that his body temperature was low, and they said that he had not been breathing for some time. Phylesia's boyfriend, Kemar Brown, was present at the time. Both him and Kyrell's mother said that Kyrell had some sort of fit when he was sleeping. Kai was taken to hospital, and despite the best efforts of the doctors, he was pronounced dead at 4:15 on the same day. The police were called to the scene, and initially it was not clear if Brown and Shirley were the only witnesses to the tragedy, and both of them denied any ill treatment. It was during the post-mortem examination carried out on the 23rd of October that the horrific injuries were discovered. Kyrell had trauma to his stomach and also torn liver, and probably, they said, as a result of being squeezed, crushed or being punched. He also suffered 5 broken ribs, and in addition he had 41 rib fractures, and they found that they'd been caused on 5 separate occasions. And these were in the months leading up to his death. As a result of the post-mortem, a homicide investigation was launched, and on Thursday the 31st of October 2019, the mother and her boyfriend were arrested and interviewed, and both of them denied any responsibility. During the investigation, the police had seized Kyrell's mother's phone, and they said when they was examining it, they came across sounds of Kyrell being abused. Shirley was checking with Brown, probably to see if he was having a relationship with other women, and it does not appear that they was protecting the welfare of Kyrell. The audio recordings that were from June and September of 2019 were very graphic, and they captured the sound of Kyrell being beaten and also abused. In most of the recordings, Kemar Brown can be heard, and Shirley is also striking him, but they said that it was mainly Kemar. The recordings were harrowing to listen to, they said in court, and the investigation team were very affected by the graphic sounds of a child being hurt and crying out for help. And this just seems like such a common occurrence every single month. It was only yesterday I covered the story on Logan Mwangi. His mother is standing trial for killing him as well, with a similar amount of injuries, 50 injuries, and Kyrell suffered 40. So how is it possible in this day and age for children to suffer such terrible abuse and for nobody to be able to find out before it's too late? So my condolences to the relatives of Kyrell. And sadly, this young boy didn't have the opportunity that he should have in life. I really want to hear what people have to say on this story. Please don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe. Follow me online as well at Scarcity Studios. And I'll be back again very shortly with some more news. Peace.